Picture this. A warehouse just returned 100 completely defective laptops, but the finance team, they still went ahead and paid the vendor the full 50 million rupee invoice anyway. But why? Well, they returned the physical boxes, sure, but they completely forgot one absolutely crucial step. They forgot to issue a debit note. And because of that simple oversight, they literally lost 50 million rupees in the process. Ouch.
So let's get into Section 1, Plain Definition, Demands versus Agreements. Let's just strip away all that corporate jargon for a second. In really simple terms, a debit note is just a formal document you send to your vendor, basically demanding a refund or a bill reduction. On the flip side, a credit note is the vendor's official document where they actually agree to lower your bill. It really is just that simple, guys. It's a demand from you and an agreement from them.
Moving right along to Section 2, the everyday analogy, the defective shirt.
Okay, let's dive into this with a really simple analogy. Think about returning a ripped or defective shirt to a retail store, right? Handing that shirt back to the cashier and saying, hey, I want my money back. Well, that is your debit note. You are formally making the demand. Now, when the cashier actually processes that return and hands you a printed refund receipt that says, hey, we've canceled this charge, that physical receipt acts as the credit note.
All right, Section 3, the workplace example, XYZ Limited steel order. Let's take this out of the shopping mall and drop it right into a corporate ERP system to see how this actually plays out for a buyer, let's call her Ria, over at XYZ Limited. So, Step 1, Ria orders steel for 10 lakh rupees. But in Step 2, the vendor accidentally invoices her for 11 lakhs. Now, Ria doesn't just call them up and complain verbally. No way. In Step 3, she officially issues a 1 lakh rupee debit note right there in her system. Step 4, the vendor admits, yep, our bad, math mistake, and sends back a matching 1 lakh rupee credit note. And here is where the magic happens. In Step 5, when it's time to actually release the funds, the ERP mathematically merges that original 11 lakh invoice with the 1 lakh credit note, and it automatically pays the vendor exactly 10 lakhs. Beautiful, right?
Next up, Section 4, the Confusion Buster. Who issues what?
You know, even with a totally clear workflow, beginners constantly mix these two documents up in the procure-to-pay cycle. It happens all the time. So let's separate the responsibilities with the ultimate cheat sheet. For the debit note, the creator is you, the buyer, and your message is simply, I am legally reducing the amount of money I owe you. Contrast that with the credit note. The creator there is the vendor, the seller, and their message is, I agree, your debt is reduced. Knowing exactly who creates which document, that is your absolute best confusion buster.
Which brings us to Section 5, the auditor's eye, the refund leakage. So what happens if this whole process breaks down? Well, from a risk and compliance standpoint, the ultimate auditor's red flag is what we call the unmatched debit note. Auditors literally hunt for lazy accounts payable clerks who issue a debit note for broken goods, but then, and here's the kicker, they never follow up to actually collect the vendor's matching credit note.
And the reason that is just so dangerous really comes down to system automation. As the quote says right here, without that vendor document, the ERP system might not adjust the final payment run. Meaning, you've made the demand, sure, but without the vendor's documented agreement in the system, your ERP might secretly leave company cash completely unrecovered. It'll just blindly pay out that full invoice anyway.
Which leaves us with this final kind of terrifying thought. Is your ERP system hiding unrecovered cash from unmatched debit notes right now? It's a scary prospect for sure, but mastering this really simple document loop is absolutely your best defense against falling into the refund trap. Join us for our next explainer where we'll unpack another massive procure-to-pay pitfall you simply cannot afford to ignore.